it's not playing in my ear.
Oh, there's just no noise.
Yeah, and then volume's up.
Oh.
Wait,
I kind of think that's how it's supposed to souffle.
Iran's supreme leader has declared 5 days of national mourning for Raisi, the foreign minister, and 6 others who were killed when their helicopter went down in a remote section of northwest Iran.
morning, Terry.
Vice President
Good morning.
has been named president until
Where are you?
Oh, we're in Alberta.
Alberta. Oh, you're back home, huh?
Rainy, cold Alberta.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're plenty cold here too.
You in Alaska?
Yeah.
Yeah. How are things going?
Pretty good. Pretty good. We're just getting set up for Scott to be here and start the bed and breakfast again. So
Yeah. How's Sandy?
she's doing pretty well. Making
That's good to hear.
progress. And how are you guys doing?
Oh,
We're doing the annual check-in with all of the doctors and
we call it medical marathon.
medical May.
Yes. We've been doing that too.
Yeah. Next week, every day, I have something on. Yeah.
I guess the good news is we're still able to do that.
Yeah, and we still have doctors we can see,
Yeah, that's right.
even if we have to wait hours in their waiting room.
Sandy is turning 80 next week.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so she's having a Russian tea party here
Oh.
for our friends and family. So
Is that ethnic or in a hurry?
well, we have a number of close Russian friends up here that have actually been instrumental in the success of the bed and breakfast. They worked with us all through the years and so forth. So they've become like Sandy's best friends. And so she
good.
spends a lot of time doing Russian types of things with them.
Cool.
So they're busy putting together the refreshments and so forth. So it'll pretty much be the Russians that are organizing everything. So that'll be fun.
I don't think every household says that.
Oh, that's right.
Jim Cunningham turned 80 this year
Oh, yeah.
in March, and he started a whole parade of them. there's him, and then his wife, and then her best friend, and then her husband. There's 5 80th birthdays between March and September. So
Oh, boy. Yeah.
yeah, they're all of that age.
What happened to Scott? I see he's sort of there.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him. I don't even know when he's arriving. That was one of the reasons I had to talk to him this morning.
Well, when I logged on, he was there, and he goes I couldn't hear him, but he indicated 1 minute or whatever. But he hasn't been back since.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess his message said something about he would hopefully get an office or someplace where he could actually set up.
Well, I know he's got a lot that goes on there in the Scottsdale office when he's especially early in the morning, getting everybody ready to go out and work in the field and so forth. So,
Yeah. Well, we,
thank you, honey.
if it gets onto video, we will stop our camera, but we're eating in front of you.
No, I'm going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Andy just brought me some breakfast.
There you go. Now we're having brunch. Bill makes a cheese souffle. It's our traditional Tuesday brunch. It's a cheese souffle, and this morning we have freshly baked croissants with it. So
And fresh
Sounds
sourdough.
pretty exciting.
sourdough bread. Yeah. So Sandy's right there. Hello, Sandy.
I am, but I just got up.
Yeah.
My hair's a mess.
Oh, that's okay. I'm sure it looks lovely.
She's got some hair, though.
I was going to say,
I was going to say that.
some hair is better than no hair. How's your souffle, dear?
Delicious. She said with her mouth. Oh,
Boy, it's not like Scott to not be on.
Oh, there he is.
in his car.
In the car.
I
Hey, guys.
jokingly said, I wonder if he's going to set up in his car.
Yeah, I don't know what else to do. On the go, you can turn this back on in settings. Okay.
Hey, he's sitting in the car.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
We're just having
There must
breakfast
be-
with your parents. You know.
Well, I think you're actually already online if I've done this right. The problem is that I don't think the video is refreshing. So I don't know if we're actually online or not. We might be online with only Bill's head and my computer club logo frozen.
Yeah, we see that. Terry seems to be the only one moving.
That's the good one you're putting in.
Yeah, I don't know how to fix that at this point.
So
It just
there's a
doesn't matter.
problem now. So why are you driving?
I'm not driving. I just don't have an office.
Oh, you don't have an office.
Yes. They gave my office to somebody and stuck me in a corner, knowing that I only need to be there for a week, and assured me that I would have an office the next time I come back. It should be interesting, though. I just hired an assistant, so we're going to have another IT person that's going to be in the office all the time.
Oh, good.
So I'll have somebody I can delegate to do stuff.
So you're sitting in your car then?
That's where I am. I'm in my
Oh.
car.
Okay. Scott, we
in my-
don't know when you're arriving.
We don't remember.
The 22nd, tomorrow in the evening,
Yes.
But what time?
like 11 o'clock.
Yeah, okay.
But,
So you're on
I
the,
think Justin's planning on getting us. I thought you guys had probably already talked.
no, we haven't, but we will.
Is it 11
Okay.
in the morning or at night?
It's at night.
Oh.
Yeah, you are talking about 11 at night, right?
Yes, yes.
Hurry up! Get here.
Hello.
Who'd I just
Hi,
let in?
Paul.
Bill's in, Paul's in. How are you doing this morning, Paul?
I'm fine. Still house ridden.
Are you still in San Carlos, Paul?
No, I'm in San Pedro, California.
Where is he?
San Pedro, California.
Mm.
Your backdrop, it just seems so appropriate for San Carlos.
Yeah. Oh, that's the point. I don't think you could get the same picture as good because now you see this arch here? They've got a row of lights on it that's kind of back.
Oh, yeah. Well,
So Paul, how are you feeling? And it looks like you're getting ready for Christmas with that beard.
Yeah, this is my, I ought to grow it till Christmas, all right?
These are done nicely.
And I'm feeling fine,
You feeling fine? That's good.
yeah. How's everybody else feeling?
well, Sandy and I are doing fine here in Alaska.
Oh, boy. You're gonna come down to San Carlos next season?
No, we probably won't.
They've improved your street.
Have they?
From the phone company to your house.
Well, we never thought that was going to happen.
They filled and leveled.
Oh, good. Definitely needed it.
So I guess I should let you know we've started. We're supposed to be streaming online. I don't think that anybody can see us. They can just see a frozen picture of Bill and I this morning, or Bill and my icon this morning. And I'm sitting in my car with an iPad and an iPhone, just trying to get at the document that I sent out this morning. This is really poorly planned, and this meeting may not last long, at least with me in it. But it's good to see all of you. In typical fashion, when this is the San Carlos Computer Club, I guess I should announce, I'm Scott Stimson. It's Tuesday, and we typically have a meeting which will be virtual until the beginning of October when I get back to San Carlos. I am on my journey to Alaska, as we were talking about a bit this morning. I think I'm bleeding through somebody's speakers, and I'm betting it's Paul, so I'm gonna mute Paul's speakers for a moment. So if anybody's got that document or they've got topics they would like to bring up, now is the time. If anybody has anything that they'd like to share with us, experience you had, or I hope everybody can hear me out there.
Yeah.
There's Bill.
We went.
Did you have something you wanted to share, Bill?
No, well, yes and no. I just went out to see if we could unfreeze it, but obviously I'm still frozen for some reason. Anyway.
Yeah, it's not you that's frozen. It's the view that I'm broadcasting on
that's fine.
YouTube
That's
that's frozen.
I have a question though. At one time, I was interested in making an old Apple iPhone into a camera, a remote camera, and it works just fine until it disconnect. No, it doesn't disconnect. The camera shuts off and comes on again. Oh no, I'm sorry, the computer does.
The internet.
Yeah, and you said something about there was a program that I could restart the whole thing with. I think it would solve my problem.
If it loses its
I'm not
connection.
remembering.
Something about you can remotely reconnect.
Yeah.
Remotely reconnect.
If your internet leaks out.
I'm not remembering anything like that. But your goal is to get it to restart. Is that right?
Yes. Because it would, as long as everything went along fine, I could use it. I could see it. But then it would lose connection or restart. I can't remember. It's been a while since I tried this. But I had no way of restarting restarting the computer. If the power went out and the phone shut down, I couldn't restart the phone to get going again.
It's an iPhone.
Yeah, it's an old
Is that
6.
right? Yeah. Say again?
So it was an old 6S that we had. So if the power goes out to a phone, is there any way you can remotely?
Battery will drain. The battery will drain. It'll die. Then the power will come on later. It'll start charging the battery. It should start itself back up.
That's right, but it doesn't.
So,
The camera doesn't.
I can't get the iPhone.
But it doesn't.
to boot. I have to physically reboot or start up the camera again.
Yeah. So you need something that will start that app when the iPhone starts up. Does that make sense?
That's what we need.
Auto start app. You know what? I bet you could do it with shortcuts. Auto start on power. I'm doing a Google search right now.
Start up.
But there may be, and I don't know for certain, but you know that the iPhone platform has an app platform called Shortcuts, and it allows you to do things like change the background based on some parameter. But, well, for example, I used it so that I can tap my phone 3 times and it'll cycle through pictures of my family on the background.
Oh.
Here's somebody trying to do the same thing. Launch app on iPhone startup.
But no, I want to be able to start up the iPhone. Like when the power goes out, the iPhone shuts down. The battery's screwed in it, so it needs power.
Right.
Okay. What I want to do is start the iPhone when the power comes back on. Have it start up automatically.
Well, it should start up automatically. But it's not starting up the app you're using automatically. That's what you want to have. Is you want it to start up the app.
Okay.
Because the phone, if it's plugged into power and the battery dies, the phone will die. But as soon as it gets a little charge on the battery when the power's back, it's going to reboot the phone. It's going to start the phone up for you. The problem is it's not in the mode you need it to be in. Is that right? Are we agreeing that's the situation?
I think so, yes.
Okay. So what you're looking for is some way that you can tell the phone the first thing it does is turn on that app.
Yes.
How do I open power app settings? How do I make it? I know what you're looking. I know what the concept of what you're looking at, but I'm not sure what it is. But here's,
Now
get
your IT lackey working on it.
No.
right.
No, when you're
He
hanging out
doesn't
at
start until next week.
Oh, okay. I tell you what I'm going to do, Scott. I'm going to go back and plug it in, start up the iPhone, and get it going, and then I'm going to shut it down and see what it does. And then we have a lot better basis for making some kind of rational decisions.
Well, and I would look at Shortcuts. It's an application framework that's in iOS. It should be installed by default, though I think you can remove it. Shortcuts lets you automate many tasks on the iPhone, and you'd be looking for something that would be like on startup, run this app. Automation and shortcuts on iPhone and iPad. Intro to personal automation on shortcuts. on iPhone or iPad. So there is a document out there that talks about shortcuts.
Would that be an app, or would it be under settings? Where would the shortcuts be?
It's an actual app on your desktop
Okay,
called
'cause
Shortcuts.
I just searched my app library and there's nothing called shortcut.
Okay, so it can be removed, though I think it installs by default. But you can install it if it's not on there. It's from Apple for the iOS platform.
Okay.
I'm looking at my phone right now. Where do I have it? Yeah, it is called Shortcuts. It's like two diamonds, a red diamond on top of a blue diamond on a dark black or a dark blue background.
And then the other thing is the iOS is maxed out on that one. So it might be,
Do you know what version you're using? Because Shortcuts might not be available.
that's what I'm thinking.
I don't know.
We don't have it in our
I
hand
see
right now.
instructions for Shortcuts versions going back to iOS 14. So I bet it works. If you go back to 14, it's called Automations.
Okay. It's an app called Automation?
But in 15, it's called Shortcuts. Personal automation provides a way to run actions based on events such as time of day, location, and the opening of an app. A normal shortcut requires you to run it from the Shortcuts app wizard. So it looks like if you can do it with Shortcuts, you probably can only do it with the most recent versions, the way the older versions read. So that may not be your solution with your phone.
Shortcuts by
Well, like I say, I'm gonna start it up and fool around with it again and see just exactly where I get to. Then we can start with a basis. So move on to your other stuff there, lad.
Hey, Scott,
Wow.
I have
Do I have
hello,
any other
Scott.
stuff? Wait.
Hello,
Hello.
Scott. So,
Oh,
you
hi,
know,
Judy.
on the document that you sent out, it's not really an invitation, it's a document. You cannot click on the link because there's a little paragraph marker in it that says Paul Gregory, and it was there the last couple of times. So you need to kind of clean up that link.
Well, that's actually Paul in the document.
Well, but I cannot click on the document to join the meeting.
To join the meeting. So
She's right.
Normally
how'd
I
you get here,
click.
Judy?
Well, I went back to a really old one and clicked on that one and opened it that way.
She's correct.
Okay. Well, are we talking about the same document? I'm able to click on it.
Well, Chester and I cannot.
That's bizarre.
There's a little paragraph marker and it says Paul Gregory. And it was there for the last 2 times.
I went online and found a link online.
Exactly. And I went back
Well, we
to the
always
old
use
email.
the same meet code, so that's the thing to do whenever there's a problem.
But you have to go back and find it, Scott. It's not readily available.
Except you put it in an original email, not in an attachment.
Right. You used to. Yeah, now it's in an attachment.
In an attachment, you can't click on it.
What? Are you talking about from your email? Let me go into my email and see what this looks like.
I missed last week as well. because I couldn't-
This one, it's this one.
But we didn't have a meeting last week, Chester.
Okay,
We
so you're
canceled
looking
it.
at the email and you
Not yet,
your only
but I'm
option
going to.
is, Scott, so you're looking at the email and your only option is documents of possible topics, right?
I'm bringing up the email. Hold on.
Okay.
It's taking forever. I don't know why it's taking forever. I never used this iPad for anything. This is the first time.
Oh,
But it's
good.
just in a loading mode.
So I just opened
It's
the
loading.
document from the email.
Yes.
when I open the document, at the top, it just says the 29th meeting, club season schedule, and then it goes straight to the YouTube connection. It doesn't even give me the meeting codes.
Well, this is not the right one. This is, all right, this is the one you should get, right? Shared a document. The San Carlos Club shared a document, right?
No.
Yeah, I got that yesterday. The St.
Yeah, I got it
Club shared
yesterday.
a document, and when I go down, it
Okay.
says virtual meeting and open. I push open, and I don't
Open,
get any
yeah.
meeting.
Or if you click on the one that says documents of possible topics.
Yeah, same thing.
So this is what I get. I'm in, what it did by default is it took my iPad to Safari and opened up Google Docs.
Well, I get that one, but if you click on the meet code, you cannot enter the meet. There's a little paragraph marker that says Paul Gregory.
I don't see
My paragraph
oh, there
says-
it is, yeah.
My paragraph marker says J. Allwood.
Weird.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's because we're all in the same document, and that's us all together. Hi, welcome to the document.
But
Those
the problem
paragraph
is
markers
that
don't do anything.
I have to
But
go
the,
back
the
to
meet
an
code,
old.
if you tap on the meet code in the document, what
Nothing
it's going to do,
opens.
Mine doesn't
it
work.
will.
Mine doesn't work. Cheryl's doesn't
Well.
work.
There is no meet code in mine. By the
So
way,
you-
I
you
usually just go
used
in
to-
from the invitation, Scott, which the invitation didn't go out this morning.
I haven't got an invitation for several weeks.
Okay, well, last week there was no invitation because there was no meeting.
As I told you, that was very confusing.
Yeah, I'm really I just saw it work, and now I'm having the same problem you're describing. That one works. That one doesn't. That one doesn't. That works. Huh.
Huh, very interesting.
Weird. Now, if I open it up in Google Docs, do I have the same problem? Takes me to Safari. At one point, it asked me if I wanted to do it in the app, but now it's not asking me if I want to use the app anymore. So it looks like on iOS, what are you using, Jody? Hello? Anybody out there? Did I lose you guys?
No, what do you mean? What am I using?
Are you using your Mac or an iPad, or what do you use?
iPad, just like always.
And I'm using Windows.
I never had a problem
Well-
opening that when you sent an invitation. Now that you don't send invitations or I haven't received them, I can't open it from that possible topic.
Yeah, I really don't know why an invitation wouldn't have gone out today. It was scheduled.
It did not.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it. Because it's not here. Well, hopefully, if not solved by next week, after a week settled in, I'll have it all sorted out again. So I can't guarantee there won't be chaos for the next meeting because I will have just moved into Alaska at that point.
Oh,
And
when are you
this
leaving?
requires me look tomorrow.
Great.
Tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be
Safe-
flying up tomorrow, Emily
Safe
and I.
travels.
Thank you.
It was very bumpy flying in and out of Denver this past weekend.
Well, I had
I
heard
think
that
on the iPad,
potential-
the secret is to get it open in Docs. If you get it open in Google Docs, then all the links are working. But if you're opening it in Safari, then it's not working right.
And mine opens in Firefox, not Safari, and it doesn't work there either. Because Firefox
Well,
is my
in a
default.
web browser.
Yeah.
If you're opening it in a web browser, it doesn't look like the links are working. But if
Right.
you open it up in the Google Docs program, it is working. So, other than problems with our emails, is there any other topics out there?
I was
Any
going to
other
mention that I
issues?
understand there was a major hailstorm in Denver airport last night that damaged substantial damage of airplanes.
Well, I flew into DIA at 5 o'clock and shot south to Colorado Springs as fast as possible, and I missed it. But it was they were rerouting traffic and everything flying into DIA, so it was pretty bad.
I kind of wish Irving was with us. This morning, I was listening to some news about Bitcoin that I thought he would find interesting. Chester, maybe you've paid some attention to it. Apparently, they've made it okay to make Bitcoin part of an FTE or an ETF. Is that right? An investment vehicle?
I'm sorry, I don't follow Bitcoin. I have really no interest in it.
Well, I thought you might be aware of this because what they've done is they've allowed it to be used to create a financial investment vehicle. I've forgotten what they're referred to, but these are like those. It's like a group of stocks that are a portfolio, and you pay for the portfolio. Please help me with some of this language because I'm not the right person to talk about it. But you would invest in the portfolio, not a particular stock. Are those called ETFs?
Yes, it could be an ETF.
And so what's happened just recently is that they have put together regulation that makes it possible to make Bitcoin part of ETFs, and they're allocating ETFs with a Bitcoin basis.
But I think that also entails regulation by the U.S. government.
Yes, yeah, I think that's the point of this, is that they've come up with the rules for why it's okay and how they're going to do it.
Yeah, they've been a major problem
Seems a little.
with the Bitcoin being unregulated. But I don't really follow it. I don't pay a lot of attention to it.
Well, what I found interesting about I was listening to this morning. I haven't read anything. I don't have an article to share. I was just listening to it this morning. But it sounds like they've made it possible to legitimize Bitcoin into the mainstream currency through this mannerism. But the concern would be the volatility of Bitcoin going up and down could be directly affecting real people's lives at this point. What I was listening to this morning made a point of saying that most of the people that have been hit by or hurt by the Bitcoin fluctuations have been speculators and not normal people. But now that they're going to allow Bitcoin to be tied to these ETFs, then there's this potential for people's retirements and savings to be directly affected by how up and down the Bitcoin market is.
Well, if you invest even in the ETF, if any investment you make in Bitcoin is subject to volatility, and I think anyone who invests knows that. I don't fool with it myself.
Well, Chester, this would be on the other side of that layer. This would be people are looking for a place to like invest for retirement, and they're picking ETFs, and these ETFs have been based on Bitcoin. They've been allowed to be built up with Bitcoin. So it's
I don't see that
it's a really
changes.
interesting.
That doesn't change the speculation aspect.
No, it changes the risk though, doesn't it?
It makes it easier.
Like
It makes it easier to lose your
easier to
money.
be in. Yeah, there. Okay, that's kind of where I was going with it. Is that they've legitimized using Bitcoin as a real investment to an extent that it may be affecting people that don't actually have any kind of attachment to Bitcoin, because they can invest in an ETF, or maybe they're getting financial advice to invest in an ETF without actually understanding that at its base it's tied to Bitcoin.
That could be.
I think that's what they were talking about this morning, was this move really moves Bitcoin into the mainstream currency markets in a way that can have real effects on real people's lives, not just people that are speculating on Bitcoin.
That's the kind of
crazy when we talk about.
That's the kind of article that I would read the headline and never read the text.
Go ahead, Chester.
I say that's the kind of article that I would read the headline and not the text.
Well, I haven't even read the text. I was just listening to it on the news this morning, and I thought it was a very interesting place we're at. You saw that the price of Bitcoin has just gone through the roof again. And what is really interesting, part of what I was listening to this morning, none of these articles that I sent you, this is all stuff I was listening to this morning, was talking about how that money that was stolen by Sam Bankman-Fried, it's looking like they're going to be able to recover most of it,
That's
which is
what I
unusual in
understand.
itself. But one of the ways that they've been able to recover the money, what's that?
That's what I understand.
I'm sorry, Chester, I didn't catch that.
I said that's what I understand, that they're going to be able to recover most of the money.
It's pretty impressive. Apparently there's financial groups out there that specialize in things that lost funds, bankruptcies, and the nature of and trying to recover and one of the things that Sam Bankman-Fried did was he invested in an AI project, and Anthropy. Some of it's another one of those open AI platforms. Stuck a bunch of money in there, and it paid off. And so they're going to be able to pay off people that have lost money with his FTX, with money that was generated by him stealing it and investing it.
Yeah, there's been some discussion regarding reducing his sentence because of the fact they've been able to recover some.
Now, it's interesting you say that, because what I was listening to this morning said that there were discussions like that, but probably won't affect anything. In fact, they had some quote from the judge saying that, I mean, whether he made money or not, stealing, he still stole it. That was what he was incarcerated for.
Well, and not only so, but he also gives a lot away to politicians and others.
Right. In fact, it's just serendipitous that he made an investment that would make so much money he could pay back the money he stole.
well, the word is some of the money, not all of it.
Yeah, well, there's probably, I definitely don't have any of the real details in that respect. It's just an odd place to be, isn't it?
Yes.
Like, he's got 25 years for stealing money blatantly from people and using it to his own reasoning. And part of his own reasoning was investing it, and it just happens to pop off and make money. I think if we're not careful, this might set a precedent for what's considered bad behavior.
I don't think so,
Like,
because
if you can make
his behavior was so egregious that I don't think any amount of excusing can excuse it.
well, and actually that actually just brings up the idea: is there even an excuse? Is there ever an excuse when you? I mean, like, if you've broken the law, you've broken the law. It doesn't matter if you did it and everybody ends up winning from it. You're still not following the rules. Aren't you supposed to be punished for that?
Well, sometimes it depends on the extent to which they broke the rules.
Well, I think this might generate this kind of conversation. I mean, I think there may be legal experts sitting around discussing this. Lawyers are trying to decide where the line is, what you can get away with, how you can get away with it. I mean, at some point, maybe it is just the cost of doing business.
It may be interesting discussion among the lawyers, but there's no way to get paid. So how do you pay the lawyers? And that's most important for them.
Well, the next billionaire they're trying to put in jail is going to have money to pay them. Well, I just thought all that was very interesting, and I think that it's a legitimate concern to think that we're going to have folks like my age going into retirement in the next 15 years, and they may have invested in ETFs that are based on Bitcoin, and that might be well, it sounds like it would be even more unstable than the 401ks have been at times. We'll have to see what happens, I guess. What other topics have we got for today's tech? Anybody? Judy, you got anything not working? Internet speed's down?
No, I just got home from New Orleans, so. Last night.
Were you partying?
I was at my granddaughter's graduation from Tulane, so most definitely it was a party.
All
Most
right.
definitely. And John Meacham,
Congratulations to her.
yes, she graduated magna cum laude. So I was very proud of her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think you
And
are. That's awesome.
John Meacham was the commencement speaker, and he was very good.
This is a writer? This is the writer, right?
Yeah, he's a presidential biographer, and he had very good words for these kids. As in, it's up to you to change all this that's going on now. So.
Yeah. I learned from my kids, they don't like hearing that.
I know
Why
they
do we
don't,
have to
but,
fix your problems, is what I hear.
well, but it's up to them. I guess it's been that way forever.
Yeah,
But
that's
anyway,
the role,
it was an
isn't it?
interesting
The role of the
trip.
younger generation.
Lots of different bars, lots of, Jägermeister and Red Bull. That's a favorite drink there. So.
Wasted and wired at the same time.
Yeah, not for me, but I stuck with tequila, so that was okay. But yeah.
Yeah,
I lived in New
that's
Orleans.
interesting. When you stick to tequila, to take it easy.
I lived in New Orleans in the 1960s, and it was a very fun place to live when you're young.
Yeah, the kids really like it. They were all pretty sad that they were getting ready to leave. So, yeah. So they were partying in accordance.
Well, I did stick a couple of articles on here. I haven't read too deeply into them. I just thought they were interesting talking points. One of them is about where we are with streaming. This is an article that's just talking about how streaming is looking more like cable every day. I was listening to a discussion about this. They were talking about how Netflix is the only one that at the moment is a true winner. They actually, and I didn't realize this until this conversation, they actually are showing a profit, and they're investing that profit into the content that they're delivering, either through licensing deals with content creators or making it available for content creators to create their own stuff under the Netflix brand. So, you know, either licensing from the Disneys and Foxes and those sorts, or they're creating their own. But apparently, they're one of the only streaming services out there that has money to work with. All the other streaming services are struggling to get by. So there is a future where we're seeing these streaming services starting to merge together. And it's starting to look more and more like a cable company. Oh, and I've had an experience, speaking of streaming, just offhand, I had an experience this week where I was watching something on Streamio and an automatic generated email pops off and gets sent to my host that somebody's pirating a show. I haven't had that experience for a year. I had that experience on GCI cable in Alaska. It's 2 in 2 years. But what it is, it's the exact same letter. It's a letter that is auto-generated by a program that monitors sites where people might go to watch movies, and if they can track down the IP address and associate it with an account, it gets sent to their account holder, and then it gets sent to the ISP, and the ISP has a system that automatically just churns it out to the account holder, and it basically says, stop doing this. We don't want to get a bunch of these emails. So that was a Streamio peer-to-peer. This is a Star Trek episode. I think there'll probably end up being more and more of these issues as people get farther and farther away from paying for all these different streaming sites that are out there. There's a big movement right now on the internet that makes it seem like people are moving back to piracy because of how difficult it is to afford access to all the streaming content they want.
Did your news this morning?
Say that again, Chester?
Did your news this morning point out that Windows is now going to sell its own computer that'll have AI incorporated into the computer hardware?
I know that's their move. I didn't see it this morning, but have you been following that Microsoft is pushing a new button on the keyboard that invokes AI? They're trying to get their hardware partners to buy into this idea that the Windows key on a keyboard would be an AI key, and you would just press that physical button to get assistance from AI.
Well, their own new computer is selling for $999, $1,000.
Is this the Surface that you're talking about? They just released a new Surface computer.
Probably.
It has, yeah, I think it's using the new Snapdragon ARM chip, which is the mobile processor that's the equivalent of what Macintosh, what Apple is doing right now, their latest chips.
That's correct.
The Snapdragon X is the latest version of that would be used in Android and Windows-based computers.
There's some discussion that because of
Trying to
it,
bring up the new.
that Intel is getting into serious trouble.
Well, they've fallen way far behind. Intel has missed it. They are still a powerhouse of CPUs, but in this space, they are not ready. So this is the Microsoft announcement. Yeah, this is what we're talking about. So they've got a new Surface Pro. And they're just pushing Copilot all over it. I mean, it will be interesting. We will reach a point, I don't know if we're already there, but we will reach a point where you're sitting in front of your computer going, I want to change the desktop background, but I don't remember how to do it. How do I change my desktop? And the computer's just going to put it in front of you, so you don't have to go find it. And it'll just be a number of just these things that you'd be more likely to, in an office, you'd turn around and ask the guy next to you, how do you do this? I don't remember. But you'll be asking it of your AI. It'll be interesting to see what it might do with their Hello camera. If you've been paying attention to the Apple side of things, they have a very robust camera on their iPads now as well as their phones, and it takes in a high resolution image and then it singles out faces in the image, and so it will pan and scan and zoom and follow a face through a video presentation. So you mount your device on a tripod and then walk around, and it's like having a cameraman. And that's all AI assisted focusing and zooming. And Microsoft has not had anything like that, even though their hardware partners have produced better cameras for a long time now on particular PC hardware. Microsoft hasn't provided anything like that as far as software. It'll be interesting to see if they get into stuff like that with their new Surfaces. I don't know if you've noticed, but we just had an Apple event with the new iPad. New iPad Pro has been released. 2 different screen sizes. The most significant thing that comes out of it is that they took the M4 chip and put it in the iPad. They have not put that chip in a computer. That's a computer class chip. The M series are like the MacBook chips or the MacBook Air chips or the iMac chips. The A chips have been the iPads and the iPhones, or the A chips. 2 years ago, they started putting the M1 chip in the iPad, which is an amazing amount of power. Today, they just released the latest iPad Pro with an M4 chip. They basically released the next iteration of the M series by putting it in a mobile device instead of a PC. I learned something interesting about this, because we have the M1, M2, M3, and M4. Apparently, they had to stop with the M3 that design architecture could not expand or double or do whatever it is you think of silicon development as doing. They had to actually step back, change their process, and then move forward with the M4. And that's the theory of why we're getting this chip in the iPad instead of in a computer. Getting it in the tablet instead of getting it in the computer. So I think that leaves the M3 in an odd place as far as what you're looking at as far as hardware. I think it's not hard to imagine that as they go forward, there might be some capabilities that they take advantage of in the M4 that you won't be able to take advantage of in an M3 or an M2 for that matter. But also, not hard to imagine. Oh, pardon me, getting some text messages. It's not hard to imagine that a computer, that the M4 isn't necessarily a real intense spec bump. So I'm actually looking at it going, this might be a great time to get an M2 or an M1 iPad, because those are going to be out on the market at discount prices. And this M4 isn't going to represent much more of a performance gain than the M3 because it's not a doubling, whereas the other computers were. The other chips were. When you went from an M1 to an M2, you were looking at like this doubling of iteration. More processors, more cores. And that doesn't appear to be the case with the M4. There is slightly more, not a distinguishing amount more. And I think it signifies only the new path for moving forward. So the M5 will be based on the M4. The M6 will be based on the M4, if you follow my logic.
There's an interesting article you may have not read about. I read yesterday that because it's the time of the year when college graduates are receiving their diplomas, that the computer science specialists are having trouble finding a job. That the jobs have all turned to AI and left hunting the computer scientist majors.
Yeah, it's an interesting time we're at right now. There's some theories that this has all been used as a way to cut the fat in these tech organizations. They could just use the excuse of, well, there's AI, we need to lay people off. When they need to lay people off regardless, and the AI is just a good excuse to do it.
Well, they're
AI
thinking
is
that the
not
AI,
proven to be something.
they're thinking that the AI would be able to write a program, and they wouldn't need programmers to the extent they have in the past.
I'm afraid that kind of thinking is what's affecting investors. Is they're getting the price of these tech companies, their stock is going up in value because they're letting loose people and saying that they're going to be relying on AI for a number of different things. It feels like a marketing thing more than anything else. I haven't seen anything that makes me think AI is taking over anybody's job. But I do think there's a lot of tech work out there that was hired on during the pandemic, a lot of remote work, a lot of areas that were focused on because we were all remote. And those areas are not being focused on any longer, and they're considered the fat of the company.
And my major,
So getting rid of them needs to happen.
and my major was accounting.
Go ahead, Chester.
My major was accounting many, many years ago, and now they're having trouble finding accountants. There's a major shortage of accounting.
That's it, because there isn't a major shortage of tech people right now. But there's I didn't realize there was a shortage of accountants. I'm amazed at how many people interviewed or put in a resume for this job here where I'm working. I mean, I was reviewing resumes on who we were going to hire, and these people are just fully qualified. A couple of them I looked at, I'm like, why do they want to work with us? Are they going to stick around?
Yeah, they're paying bonuses now for accountants.
That's really interesting. Maybe that's the field that people should be getting into. That's the wrong meeting. We got the wrong document open. There we go. Well, the other article I stuck in here, I didn't get to read all the way through it, is about smart contact lenses, which is something that I think we've all been waiting to see come about. These, I think, will be, and probably they suggest, are going to be used specifically for dealing with medical conditions. Probably not something that you would wear around 100% of the time or most of the day, but more like you would put them in your eyes to do testing. Eye pressure. The contact lenses can provide real-time monitoring of eye pressure to monitor conditions like glaucoma.
Scott?
So they've got oh yeah.
I see eye doctors and specialists a lot because I have diabetic retinopathy and I've had injections and all kinds of things. And my doctor has invited me to try out a new technology where they do a digital optical exam. They have a new machine in their office, and I've been chosen as one of the people to use this on. So a week from Thursday, so not next week, but the week after, I'll be able to update you and tell you just exactly what kind of this new technology is that are going to examine my eyes. And, you know, they usually have to dilate with 3 different things, and my eyes, I can't see for about 6 hours afterwards. If they do both of them, I'm really blind. So there's no dilation needed, which is a big plus. And instead of having to be in the office for 4 hours, because they put the drops in, they wait, and all this kind of stuff, my total length of time in his office is going to be 45 minutes. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I want to hear about it. That'll be very cool. So it's a digital, their machine scans your eyes, that's the idea, and then they give you they do a digital, and it must be like they use some algorithms on it to determine what it means.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be all about and how much they're going to tell me, but maybe I'll get talking to the girl or the guy that's using it and see if I can kind of pick their brains on it.
Well, we're going to look forward to it. I am out of topics. I'm sorry for being so discombobulated today. It's just the situations that I'm under. I welcome anybody's topics at this point. What would you like to add to our discussion? We'd do some reviews if you guys got some recommendations. Happy to talk about anything anybody's brought.
Just before we go to reviews or recommendations or anything, because I am watching a lot of things these days, but one of the things I'm doing, and it's just kind of sharing my frustration, my brother passed away, and I am forced to go through his stuff and look at his financials and all this. And he's got a bunch of emails, and it looks like there's a PayPal account that's been doing some business in Bitcoins, and there's a thing called Binance, Bit Finance company. I have no idea if these emails are scams, if they're legit, if he has some money somewhere.
Binance? Is it Binance?
Yeah, Binance.
Yeah. So I don't know if you remember, but that was the one that was going to buy FTX to save them. And then when he got their books, he freaked out and backed out of the deal. And now he has been brought up on charges. Binance leader has been brought up on charges. And they issued him a fine. If I remember right, the fine was less than 1% of the amount of money that they made. And so it has now been said as that's the price of doing business.
Well,
Binance is still around. Maybe your brother has some money with him.
it would be very surprising that he did. And we look at these emails, and I don't know how to determine if it's scam or not. So I'm trying to find out if he even did have a PayPal account, and if he really did. It's just very frustrating to find out something about somebody who has passed away. So.
Hey. Well, you know, as far as if you want to legitimize, if you want to find out legitimately whether a PayPal account exists out there for him, then one way to start is with your own PayPal account. You should be able to take the email address that is associated with the supposed PayPal, put it into your PayPal like you're going to ask for money, and his persona should pop up. If he has a PayPal account, you should be able to look it up in your PayPal as though you're going to ask him for funds or send him funds, and it should populate with, at the very least, his real name, maybe a phone number, but it would, at the very least, it would give you an idea that there is a legitimate PayPal account out there that is his.
Okay, well,
without you having to go through one of those emails.
Okay, well, I just went to my PayPal account, as you suggested, and I start typing, and there's one that's similar, but it's not him. So, thinking, maybe there wasn't. Maybe it's all just fake, which I suspect it is. But I also know that there's some money that we can't account for from him. So, I don't know. It's just all frustrating.
Yeah, well, this is when people get scammed. It's when you have an active PayPal account you're using all the time, and you get that message from PayPal, and you're like, wait, I didn't do that. Then you get scammed because you followed that message.
Right.
The other time people get scammed like this is in your circumstance.
Yeah.
Where you have no idea, and you're doing this investigation, and many people would just start out thinking, oh, well, that's from his PayPal account, instead of like you thinking, maybe this is all bullshit, which is where you should start every investigation.
Yeah. Well, I have a really good contact at the Toronto Dominion Bank, and so I'm going to go and meet with her again, and we're going to go back through the last 10 years and see if we can find anything that hooks to a PayPal, so start there. Anyways, that's my frustration. Meanwhile, I'm staying up very late watching all of the new releases of my Philly shows that I follow, and I got down a rabbit hole with something called Trader Canada, a reality TV show based on something out of Holland, I think. And it's where they put these people together in a mansion, and it's a murder mystery type thing. And so many people are chosen to be traitors, and others are faithfuls. And yeah, I got sucked down the whole series. So interesting stuff, but what a waste of time. So.
Traitors. Yeah.
They have Trader UK and Trader different places.
Cool.
It's all so dramatic, but it's a reality Big Brother's Survivor poop.
I never heard of it.
Yeah,
I've got a post. I don't believe I have posted it yet, but Paul sent me his movie list from his latest cruise, and I've marked it up with links to the track description of each one of the movies. And I don't think I posted it yet, but I'm going to be posting it shortly, and it'll just be a post on the blog that'll be a list of his movies. That's the only recommendation I come with today, is be on the lookout for Paul's list. Is there anything else out there? I see Dad, Paul, Bill, Cheryl, and myself. I suspect I need to go back to work. I have nothing else to contribute to today's meeting. Thanks for meeting with me today. I'm sorry it's so disjointed. Next week may not be any better since I will be just setting up and getting organized.
Well, is it
But
just two of you? Just you and Em heading to Alaska tomorrow?
Cheryl? Yes. Yuya and Viviana have come up. They're coming up right now. They're going to pick up the car. They're going to drop off Emmy, but they're going to drive back to Mexico and come join us at the end of June. Phoebe's got a retreat she's got to do as part of her foreign exchange.
Does she know where she's going?
Paris.
Ooh, ooh la la.
I know. I don't know if we're going to get her back.
Oh, she'll be great. Paris suits her.
Well, as soon as I found out it was Paris, it made sense to me why it was the last year she'd be allowed to do it. They can't have them turning into adults in a place like Paris. They might not come back to the U.S. or Mexico.
Are you hearing this? Well, I wanted to compliment you on today's program, Scott. You did pretty well for sitting in a car somewhere.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Yeah, we look forward to it too.
All right.
Are you guys gonna still be up and moving by the time I get over there?
Doubtful, but your apartment will be ready, I think. It's
all right.
In our situation, it would have been, we've gone to bed at 8 o'clock and we'll get up to say hello.
Yeah, right.
It'll be about a bathroom break time at 11 o'clock if you come in at midnight into our house.
We might be up for 11, but that flight has ended up coming in about 1 in the morning the last couple of times we've taken it, so we won't take that late. But as long as you know how to get into your apartment, you should be all right.
I believe I do. Yeah, it's still the smart locks, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't know anything about it, but James has been maintaining it.
We'll find out when I get there then.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have a good week. Pop, I'll see you and Mom, if not tomorrow, the day after, the morning after.
We're looking forward to it, Scott.
And the rest of you, I will see next Tuesday.
Tech on, safe travels.
Until then, tech on.
Tech on, yeah. Goodbye.
Bye, honey.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.